Good afternoon. I'm Stephen Wright. I'm the General Manager in Harland & Wolff Belfast. So you've got a bit of a double act today. Matt Smith, who's our Group Director of Commercial for Renewables and Energy. So we sort of split this presentation in two. So we'll kick off with the video. Hopefully. Okay, Harland & Wolff Group. So we have 4 sites now. We have obviously Harland & Wolff here in Belfast. We have Harland & Wolff Appledore, Methil and Arnish. So it's all placed strategically around the UK and support all the areas and all the sea channels. The 4 sites offer the largest UK fabrication footprint, which in essence allows us to reduce fabrication times and schedules by up to 30%. Obviously, that's great for a client. We have the largest fabrication footprint, as I say, within the UK, around 334.6 hectares in size, with over 70,000 square metres of covered fabrication space, one of which being one of the largest fabrication halls in Europe. Here in Belfast, we have 2 of the largest dry docks in Europe. The main building dock is 556 metres long by 93 metres wide, and our ship repair facility is around 335 metres by 50 metres in width, allowing us to take in some of the largest vessels and seagoing vessels that there are. Very easy access both in the Victoria and Musgrave channels, which is great for vessels coming in, but also when they're going back out again. Direct access, I'm sure Colin has touched on when you've seen some of the harbour slides, how simple and easy it is to get into the shipyard. What we offer, complete life cycle management. So from the technical services side, with our in-house engineering and design capabilities, fabrication and construction, where we can take on projects, say we can do up to 250 metric tonnes per week. So we have a large capabilities for fabrication and construction. Repair and maintenance, through the ship repair facility, for example, and also through the building dock. We have brought in over 60 vessels from last year, all of which have been delivered on time and the budget. In-service support, which is something that we're focusing on now, where we can offer the support of the group anywhere in the world. So that's a big aim for us now. Conversion works. So again, to support the ship repair side, we also look at the converting sort of standard vessels to maybe FPSOs, to accommodation modules, and that's something we offer as well. And then the decommissioning. Because obviously with all of these vessels, all of the support side, there's the decommissioning that comes as well with it. Our markets. So we operate across a series of markets. Previously, shipyards worked in shipbuilding. What we have discovered is, or what we have found as a group, is that we just cannot survive solely in a shipbuilding market. So we operate in defence, commercial, oil and gas, cruise and ferry, and as we're here today, renewables. I'll talk a bit more now about Harland & Wolff Belfast. Harland & Wolff, it's 81-acre site currently, which is made up of the main building facility, which is just across from us here, and the ship repair facility, which is at the end of the road as you go out to the left. To say, we touch on some of the capacities and capabilities. Two of Europe's largest dry docks, over 30,000 square metres of covered fabrication facility, internal craneage capacity of over 300 tonne, reinforced quaysides for loadouts of large renewables, whether it be jacket structures, large units for fabricated units for the floating sector. Assembly areas for ground blocking. So we have both Samson and Goliath, which obviously most people know about Samson and Goliath, 840 tonne capacities in each crane. So that allows us to do large fabrication and then we can load it into the dock. To say separate dock for ship repair, where we have over 70 vessels coming through. As it stands today, I think we have 4 vessels on the go at the minute in various stages of the repair site. Dedicated painting facilities, both in our fixed structures of painting and blast cells, but also what we call RUB, which are two large units where we can lift the roof off and place in large fabricated sections for blasting and painting. Deep water quays, 8.6 metre water depth along the quays, again to take large draft vessels, and significant internal and external storage spaces. And the main building dock, and this is something which is, I'm not sure why there's anybody else can offer sort of this facility. Our main building dock, as I say, is 556 metres long by 93 metres wide, but we have what we call the intermediate dock gate. It allows us to split the dock and keep one side wet and the other side dry. That's going to be utilised currently, and we have a project at the Belfast side of the dock, which we lock in and keep dry for approximately 20 weeks. On the wet side, we'll still be doing ship repair work, and that just keeps going. Okay, we have 4 spaces within the dock, so we can range from 130 metres, and we can split the dock in various areas, right up to the 556 metre space that we have. An extensive track record, not just in the ship repair side, but also in the offshore heavy fabrication. East Anglia 1, there's been some pictures of East Anglia 1. So it's been manufactured steel foundation jackets for Scottish Power Renewables for the offshore, just off the coast of England. So it included the assembly of 18 wind turbine jackets of 64 metre heights and 840 tonne. Ormond Offshore Wind Farm, again situated off the coast of the Cumbrian coast in the Irish Sea. The second UK offshore wind farm to use Repower's 5 megawatt turbine. So obviously the turbine sizes are increasing, which means footprints increase, which means weights increase and capacities increase. There's a transportation side as well, a logistical side, where you can store, where it be nacelles, blades, ready for either transport or ready for assemblies for sailing offshore. Frederick Ernstein, again, it was more of a ship repair project. Again, getting ready to service the offshore side, where we brought the vessel in, we removed the spud cans, basically which are what goes onto the seabed, so we can reduce those, increase the size of those depending on soil conditions. So that's work that we can carry out in our ship repair facility as well. Robin Rig, offshore wind farm again, 3 megawatt turbines located off Dumfries and Galloway, and the Solway Firth. Again, fabrication, storage, assembly, sail out, load out, and everything being brought in-house as well. So that's just a bit about the facility. So one thing that sort of people have touched on throughout is acceleration of time, which we are ready for. With the 4 sites, it puts us in a great position where we can utilise each site to support one site. So for example, if we're doing assembly works here in Belfast, we can be supported by the 3 other sites. Each of the other sites has got its own capability. The Arnie site is a site we would use for rolling. So she can roll up to 150 millimetre thick plate. The Methil site has got a track history in jacket fabrication and offshore fabrication. The Appledore site can also assist Belfast in the shipbuilding side. So we come back to the markets that we operate in. which is to ensure that it's not just a one sort of track, so that we have the options of utilising different markets. We also touched on some of the people and skill requirements, something that we're actively engaged in now. We've started things like, for example, working with the local colleges, our welding academies, because it's something that we have identified as a shortage. Apprentices, we started our first intake of apprentices in 2021, and we're going to increase that this year, potentially bringing to Belfast an additional 40 apprentices. Supply chain, obviously it's all about supply chain as well. So currently on our books we have over 600 suppliers. That will grow, that will develop, whereas we look at how we do joint ventures, how we do framework agreements, and again all of that to support across all of the businesses, but obviously we're geared towards the offshore, whether it be floating or fixed as well. Okay, so that's just a brief run through from myself, and I'll hand over to Matt, who'll carry on with the rest of the presentation.
Okay, thanks. Good afternoon. Matt Smith, Group Director of Commercial for Renewables and Energy. So I look after post-contract tender works, bidding, etc., right across the company, looking after renewables, offshore wind, tidal, etc., and energy, which is rebadged oil and gas market. Ready to ramp up. Stephen's touched on what we've been doing in the past couple of years since Harland & Wolff was acquired. The company, in reality, 161-year-old name, fantastic history. But in its current format, Harland & Wolff's just over 2 years old. The company was acquired, Harland & Wolff Belfast was acquired in December 2019, Appledore in April 2020, and then 2 yards in Scotland, where I'm from, I'm sure you can all guess. So one in the Fife Coast in Methil, and the other one in the Outer Hebrides. The yards that Harland & Wolff acquired, they weren't in a condition that was really conducive to major fabrication projects. Years of lack of investment, no investment from previous owners, oil and gas crash followed by pandemic, etc., etc. Several people have touched on it today. One of the companies that Harland & Wolff acquired last year was Burnt Island Fabrications Limited, or BIFAB. I used to work with those guys, so it was part of the acquisition. We've reopened the yards. We have reinvigorated the workforce. We're in a situation just now where we have had a huge focus on HR. Our team have been across the country doing road shows from the north of Scotland all the way down to the south of England, all the way through Ireland. We recognise that there is a shortage of skilled labour, whether that's to do with an ageing workforce, whether it's to do with the pandemic, people choosing to retire early or go off and do something different. So we're engaged in a travelling workforce. We have thankfully built up a great deal of loyalty across the years, so when we've been able to reopen the yards and get these up and running, we have been able to draw on local labour pools and bring them back. So, 4 sites, as Stephen said, one team, were transferable right across the country. Culture and ethos. So, curious. As a new group, as a new company, we're embracing the future, discovering new and better ways of doing things that excite us. We're agile because we're young, because we're still a small management team. We're able to adapt. We make change work for us and our clients. We're evolving. We innovate. We evolve. We're investing in talent. We're investing in technology, processes, and our facilities, which I'll touch on in a minute. We're confident. We actually believe that we've got something different to offer the market, not just in the form of a traditional fabricator. We're genuinely looking at to see what we can do differently. We're engaged. We're engaged across several different markets, the renewables being one of the key ones, and we perform. We've touched on what's happening here in Belfast on the shipbuilding side. Everything that's going through there just now is fantastic. It's going out on time. In terms of investment, So across the group over the course of the past 2 years, our parent company has probably invested some in the region of £12 million. This is just an example of what we've done in one of our yards. Now, in the Methil facility, which is, in terms of footprint, it's actually larger than the Belfast facility. It doesn't have dry dock capability, so it's not competing for ship build, ship repair. It's there to support. If we were in a situation where we were looking at ship build here, we could be building hull sections and ship them round. But it's a facility that is recognised for fabrication. Structures have gone out into the North Sea from this yard probably for the best part of 45, 50 years now, under a variety of different owners. So recently, looking at the areas where we knew we needed to invest, we've spent just under £1 million on a new pipe profiling machine. This is in recognition of the condition that we're receiving materials in from clients. A lot of the projects that we work on, the materials are free issued. You expect something to turn up a certain way, it doesn't. You then have to ship it out to a subcontractor. You're paying additional transport, carbon footprint, etc. So we bought our own machine. We've been upgrading the gantry cranes. Unfortunately, we don't have anything like Samson and Goliath. I mean, these are iconic landmarks here in Belfast. New paint facilities, new buildings. We've been investing in our process and systems. We're currently rolling out a new integrated IFS system, which is control of materials, labour, everything right across the group, so all the sites are working on the same basis. Skills. Stephen touched on apprenticeships. Very, very successfully this year, or just last year, sorry, 39 new apprentices into the group, 13 of which were placed here in Belfast. We agreed at a management meeting last week that our target this year is 100, 40 to 50 of which will come to Belfast. And we're looking to set up the Welding Academy here, and then we'll mirror that across our other facilities as we continue to grow, because we recognise again that the only way to backfill the shortage of labour is by doing something different. The Welding Academies will end up being across all 4 of our facilities, and we'll be in a situation where we'll be able to offer that service to the market as well as training people up in-house. As a group, community investment. The Methil site was not a pretty site. It was it was an eyesore in terms of people driving past and things. So we've been working with the local community to make sure things like that are improved. We're doing the same here in Belfast, doing the same across the sites. 2 years ago, 1 year ago, sorry, we went through the process of being acquired. We're now sitting with over £4 million spent in the Methil yard. We're up to just under 200 employees. The project that we're working on, that will peak at about 400. We're aiming to have a core of probably 600 to 800 within that facility. We're looking to end up with a core of probably something similar here. And because of the size of our Appledore and Arnish sites, they'll be smaller, but as a group, over the course of the next 5 years, we're aiming to get up to 1,000 to 1,200 people. Pipeline in the renewables market alone, unsanitised, you can look at every project in fabrication, we can see £3.3 billion out there over the course of the next 10 years. You actually look at the target projects, Celtic Sea, Northern Irish, all of the Scotland round of projects, we can easily see £300 million worth of fabrication between Belfast and Methil over the course of the next 5 years, not 10. Project that we're working on just now, so this is the Nertnagoyth offshore wind farm. Saipem are the EPCI contractor, the developer is EDF or NNG. 1,400 tonne jackets, project will be in excess of 500,000 man-hours. We're receiving free issue materials, fabricating, constructing, painting. We're spread some of that fabrication across our facilities. We're doing secondary steel platforms, boat landings, etc. in Arnish, and we're in a situation just now where we're currently negotiating for more of this project, and should we be successful, we'll be then looking to allocate a chunk of that fabrication to Belfast. One of the things that Stephen's done very successfully over the course of the past 2 years is get the docks up and running very, very successfully. We now need to replicate that with fabrication shops. I'll just touch on supply chain. How do you become a supplier to Harland & Wolff? How to engage with us? So the contact details are on the next slide, but the reality is you're all probably operating something similar: pre-qualifications, supplier assessments, evaluation, and supplier pre-qual. 600 on the books just now, and that will only continue to grow. Hopefully we'll be able to work with some of the people we've met here today. If anybody wants to get in touch, there's the supply chain at harlandandwolff.com. And rather than continuing to rabbit on, I think this is a video for us to finish up.
Harland and Wolff, household names. Across 3 centuries, 160 years, 300,000 people, grandfathers, fathers, daughters, brothers, sisters, neighbours, friends. The world's most famous ships from the world's most famous shipbuilders. Well, we're not just shipbuilders any longer, because the world's changed, and so has Harland and Wolff. We still look out, but with new sights in our horizons. Where once our giants strode the globe, now our twins exist in wafer-thin silicon. We're still pioneering, of course, still dreaming, still designing, but now we're digitizing too, engineering whole new worlds, virtual, real, and connecting them. We've taken some of the largest dry docks in Europe and flooded them, full of fresh ideas. Now current assets are given a new lease of life. We're refurbishing, repairing, replacing, and renewing. And brand new capabilities are brought to life. From drawing board to data to delivery, from recycling to renewables. Batteries, hydrogen, synthetic fuels. There's a wind of change blowing through Harland and Wolff, a new energy. We're still fabricating and facilitating, supporting everything from rigs to defense of the realm, from construction to decommissioning, a wealth of services for sovereign capability. And above all, we're combining the best of artisan craft with the very latest technologies, sharing skills and expertise across the generations, from concept to completion. In 1861, Harland and Wolff was alive with people. In 2021, it's alive with possibilities. You see, we're not just shipbuilders any longer. We're building a bright new future for ourselves and for you. Welcome to the new Harland and Wolff.
Thank you.